Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. And let me just start with Poland, because I just want to say that my conclusion is that the new frontier for growth for Poland would be to merge with Bangladesh. And I will explain why that is the case. Thank you for the invitation. The last time I was in Poland, it was at the Polish Economic Forum in Sopot. So I think we landed in Gdansk and then lovely beach resort. And that's right. So I have wonderful memories of that. Clearly, very, very clearly, the experience of Poland, the economic transformation over 2.5 decades or so is inspiring. It's exceptional, it's inspiring, and for other developing countries with similar initial conditions to yours, the demographic profile, the pool of young people, all of those things, the similar initial conditions should mean that a country like Bangladesh can do well by just trying to replicate what Poland has done. And I say trying to replicate as if it's just a matter of taking a recipe and cooking a dish. Clearly, that's not the case. It's much more easy to figure out what needs to be done, but it's a lot harder to figure out why is it that what needs to be done does not get done. And that's the political economy environment that we find ourselves in. Now, who can tell me what is the median age in Poland? What is the average age of a typical Pole?
42?
43. Median age in Bangladesh?
27.
26, that's correct. So there is a clue over here as to why I'm saying that a merger, a synthetic merger, an integration is really the way forward at a global level. So Bangladesh, for those of you who don't know, went through an uprising, a student-led uprising in July of 2024. Lots of reasons for that, but at least one of the reasons was the lack of economic opportunities for a very young, large population. Give you another quiz. What is the size of the population of Bangladesh? 180 million, 175, 80 million. So it's Canada and Russia combined in a very tiny space. So young, crowded, digitally connected, so they know when they're deprived that they need to do better. So you cannot mess with them. You have to level with them and say, this is what we need to do, and we will deliver on the economic front. How can you deliver on the economic front? You enhance productivity. And for productivity, you need all the other skills and logistics and infrastructure, but you also need capital investment. And for a country that is young, there isn't a lot of domestic savings. So the savings have to come from abroad. And it usually comes from a place where people are older, so they have more savings, and so you need to deploy. So when you think about where to deploy or how to deploy, I know you're thinking about technology and green and all of those things. Also think geographically. And once you start thinking geographically, you look at places like Bangladesh as places where you can participate in the fundamentals that they have. And so you could have a second growth story in the way that Poland has had in the past. So the problem I find right now with the dialogue here in Davos and many other places is you're always asking for what is the next new thing that's going to create growth. That is relevant for countries that are already at the frontier. There is no more to go. You have to invent new things. But for those of us who are below our production frontier, we just have to do better with utilizing the resources that we have right now. So the roadmap is pretty clear for us, and we have to follow that. But my last point, with the frontier stuff, there is a bit of techno-determinism in the language that I'm hearing over here. AI is going to do this, X trillion dollars added to GDP, and exactly the same language I remember about crypto and blockchain, and you just come up with a new flavor of the month, and that is where it goes. The problem is, as policymakers, we cannot start with the technology. We have to start with the use case, and then at its core, we have to think about jobs. Our objective is not to create unicorns. Our objective is to create jobs and productive employment and entrepreneurial opportunities for the young people that I started just round the corner. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I saw somewhere a few minutes ago Polish Deputy Foreign Minister, so merging Poland and Bangladesh, I think it was well addressed.
Great challenge for everybody, yes.
Would you like to add?
Yeah, so we'll be investing in Polish language schools. Because we'll be supplying the healthcare workers that you will need very soon. As I started off by saying, our equivalent of crude oil is the young people that we have. It really is a bountiful supply of something that the world needs. But the difference between crude and refined oil, there is a difference. So you need to then refine the oil to make sure it's suitable for aviation and for other forms of transportation. And so we need refineries of people and targeted for various sectors. We have an MOU with the Japanese, for example, to supply X 100,000 people in various sectors in a very targeted way. We have that with countries in the Middle East, and I'm sure there will be others, parts of Europe as well, Canada. That is what I would invest in, because who knows what the next new hype will be. Every year it's a slightly different piece of technology that consumes everything in Davos. But ultimately it's jobs and enterprise and employment. So the more we invest in the capacity of people, the more we'll be prepared for that. So if you have good Polish language teachers, please send them our way.